Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Wood Chip Woodworking. Today we're going to make a hobo fishing reel. Something I wanted to try and make for my grandkids, and if I go on vacation, it'd be something I would want to take with me that I can carry on a plane if I wanted to, or keep it in the truck or whatever. So it's kind of a fun project that I was going to make a few of these and see what it is. But nevertheless, we're going to try to do it and see what we can do with it. So hang tight and let's get started on this. But first of all, let's do a little housekeeping here. Please feel free to share, subscribe, like. Let me know what your thoughts are on the comments of these videos. Hit that little bell for notifications that when I upload some videos, and leave me a comment on what your thoughts are on this project for today. All right, let's get started. Hang tight. All right, so what I got here is a piece of firewood that I'm going to make this out of. This is a little bit longer than what I need, but I figured this would give me a good idea of what I want. And so I marked the center on it using my center finder. And let's go over to the lathe and put it on there and get it round. And let's get started shaping. So hang tight and we'll get over to the lathe and get started. All right, well, let's get started on this project here. Like I said, I got my piece here. We're going to start out between centers. So I got to put my drive in. And we'll put this up on there. And what first thing we want to do is make it round. So, and there's plenty of different ways to make it round. Me personally, I like to use a skew. So that's what my intentions are to do, is use a skew to make it round. So get everything nice and tight here and let's get started on it. So we're going to make it round. My face shield here, and we'll get started here. Trying to get you a different view, make sure I capture everything. So I put my camera in behind, and let's get started on this. Face shield down, and let's get around. So just going to make it round. Like I said, this is a piece of firewood. I think it's a piece of maple or maybe ash, I'm not sure which. Nevertheless, it's just a piece of firewood that I have. And we're going to make her round. If you look online, that there's several of these out there. There's actually a company that that's their whole business, is to make these. And I kind of took this and put my own spin on it, per se. So what I'm going to do is a little bit different. It's kind of fun. I think it'll be fun anyway. Not there yet. I'll try to leave this as much meat on here as possible for what I want to do. Let's go this way and clean up a little bit of this. I've got several videos that I've done. I just got to figure out a good editing program to edit them. The one I have is not very, for me, user-friendly. And it's probably because I'm not very computer savvy. So I got to figure that out. And some of them I just need to do a voiceover type thing. The video's fine, it's just microphone kept cutting out on me. So I'm going to be cautious on that and just kind of keep an eye on it. But as you can see, I'm getting it round, and that's the whole thing. What I want to do next is just keep working away at this. So this is like watching paint dry. So I am going to pause you while I get it round and go from there. So hang tight and we'll get back. I'll come back in a minute. All right, so I got it round, and my next step is I just put a spigot on here. This is part of my design that I did. So we're going to take and put this in the chuck, and I am going to put a chuck on there and get the this piece up into the chuck and get my drill chuck on there as well. And I'll be right back once I get that done, and I'll show you what's next on what I'm doing. So hang tight. All right, so what I got here is the top of a pill bottle, and I'll show you what I'm going to do, and this what's making this a little bit different. So this is the top of a pill bottle, and I just took the top off of that. And what I want to do is put this chuck, my little chuck, on first, and I'm going to use the threads off the pill bottle as a cap to screw on there. So what I want to do is cut this so that I cut that piece off. So I put this in the chuck, get my diamond point easy wood tool, and I'm just going to cut the top of that off. So I want to just take and just cut that off. Hopefully you can see what I've got here. Make sure, go over and look. Make sure you see what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay. So I got that in the chuck, and I'm going to cut this off. Okay. Put this back in there. So I don't want to stress it too much, so I'm just holding it enough so that I can cut that. All right, so I cut this off, and I'm going to kind of clean that up with a little bit of sandpaper. Just so I got that edge clean. I might have to cut it with a tool, is what I'm thinking. So we use my skew here. All right. Okay. That ain't too bad. It's got a little bit of a lip there. Let's see if I can take that little bit of a lip off. I'm going real lightly on it. Yeah, I'll just clean that up a little bit. Okay, that'll work perfectly. Okay, so what I've got here now is, so I've got the tops of the threads on the bottle, and then this will screw onto there. So what I'll need to do next is cut this out. So I need to cut that out. So I'm going to stick this. Not sure how I'm going to do that. I guess we'll just expand out into that. And I'm going to cut that edge off. Okay, where's my little diamond parting tool again? All right. I'm going to cut this edge off here. Okay. That's pretty close. Just a little bit more. Okay, I don't want to ruin my threads. Okay, I'm pretty close. I'll put this back on there. And I'm going to try it a little bit more. I don't want to ruin my threads, so I've got to be real careful here. Okay, it's pretty close. As you can see, I'm cut through it. Got that off, which is fine. And what I'll do is, I'm going to take and put it back on there, and I'm going to cut just a hair more. So hang tight, and we'll show you what I got when I'm done. All right, so I'll show you what I got. Okay, so I cut the top of that off, and that screws back onto there like so. So that'll screw onto there. That's what I needed. All right, so let me put my piece back in there, and we'll get started. Got to do a little drilling. So hang tight, and we'll get some drilling done. So let's get started on that part of it. All right, so it's 1 5/8 is the diameter of this piece here. This piece here is 1 5/8. So I want to cut a hole in there, 1 5/8, and I want to go in roughly that far, which would be, guessing, about half the distance of that. So we're going to cut it in there and see what we come up with. I might go a little deeper because I got to trim off the end here, but that's no big deal. I'm running about 250 RPMs, just letting it cut. I'll go down just about to the depth of that. Let's see what we like. Let's see how we're looking here. Pretty close. Might have to do a little bit of trimming up on that. So let's get my... So it's just a hair over 1 5/8. So I just want to take a little bit out of there. Okay. Hopefully that's about right. Oh yeah, fits pretty good. You go just a hair deeper, and that will take care of that. So, go a little bit deeper. Not a whole lot. Clean that up. This. Okay. Perfect fit. So that will be glued in there eventually. That will be glued into that. So now I need to drill out the center, and I want to drill down quite a ways. So let me switch over to another bit, and we'll get started on that part of it. So let me get that drilled out, and I'll show you what we got when we come back. Hang on. All right, so give you an idea what I am trying to do, okay, is basically I got these little vials here and a worm and all this. So basically what I'm going to do is this will go in there, that'll go in there, my worm will go in there, get in there, and that'll go in there. This will be glued on top here, and then I'll have a cap on that, and you'll be able to unscrew this and reach in there and get all your stuff out of there. So it's got a little storage compartment to store my fish hooks, the bobber, all that good stuff will be put in there. So everything will be self-contained. That's the thinking that the process of what I'm trying to do. So in order to hold this while I turn it, I made this little piece there, and I'll put this in there, tighten it up. Now I can turn the rest of this. But what I would need to do is probably straighten this up to turn this off away. So I need to take off probably about a ½ inch or so on this piece right here. So let's do that, and we'll go from there. So parting tool, and let's get started. Okay, I need my face shield. Alright, so I'm going to take about a ½ inch off so I can square this up. Square the end of this up. Let's see where I'm at. Not quite there. Pretty close. See if I can do this without tearing it out of the chuck. Okay. Pretty close. I'm going to get my Japanese saw and finish it off, so that way I don't tear it out of the chuck. So we're just going to come real close to going through it, as you can see. Now clean that edge off and we'll be in good shape. So that's kind of the gist of what I'm trying to do with that end. So let me clean that off and I'll get it reset back up, and we'll keep moving. All right, hang tight. All right, so we got that part done. Now what we're going to do is make the shape. So this is going to be my handle end. So I'm going to turn this down and try to think of how I could turn it down about there. All right, so basically I want a piece on here that I can grab a hold of. So I'm going to turn like a bead on the end of it. So I need me a spindle gouge. And this part should go fairly quick. So I'm going to turn the bead on the end here. Okay. Just something so you can grab a hold of when you got a hold of it. Now, the other thing I need to think about is how much room do I need on this? So I'm going to say I need something like right up to here. So this will be pretty much my handle here. So I turn that down. And I need to measure. Okay. So this piece, the hole, is actually 1 5/8 inches. So I don't want to go more. I want to go 2 inches. That's my minimum thickness that I want to go. So I want to make this 2 inches. So what I'm going to do to make this parting tool, actually I'm going to use this other parting tool here. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Probably right in front of me. There you are, right in front of me, like I said. Okay, so I'm going to use this and I'm going to measure down a couple different spots and I'm going to make that there. So we're going to do this. The reason I'm using this one is because it's wider and I can get down in there pretty easily. This doesn't have to be exact. Okay. Check my measurement here, make sure I'm still at 2 inches, because I think it may have moved. Yep, it's still good. So I need to cut this one down just a hair more. There we are. All right. So I got basically what I want, and now all I want to do is take that material away and then make a handle out of it. So. Okay, you get the gist of what I'm trying to do there, so I'll finish that up and then I'll be right back. Hang tight. All right, so as you can see, I finished rounding that down. I got it pretty smoothed off. Now what I need to do is take this down to meet that and do a little bit of a indentation for my thumb to put in there. So when I'm like this, hold your thumb up in there. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to taper this down to move that. One more cut. Okay, so that would be that right there. So that would be that right there. Give you something to grab a hold of. Got a little bit of spot I need to clean up, but I'll deal with that later. Well, actually, let's deal with it now. Let's deal with it now. Let's just take that. As you can see, I got a little spot right there I need to clean up. So let's just deal with that right now. Take my skew. Yeah, there it is. I had that little bit there, but I'll sand that out when I'm done. All right, so now we need to make the part that holds the fishing line. So this here has got to be dipped down, and then this has got to be tapered up, which is less than that. So let's see here. We need to, where's my pencil at? And I want to make some marks on there. All right, so this piece here, and basically I want to kind of come down here and go up. Okay, then this part here will be less than that. And it'll be something like that, I believe. So we need to cut this here, from here to here, to put our line on it. Somewhere in there. All right, so let's take that out. All right, here we go. Basically, I'm making just a concave here, cove if you want to call it that. So, all right, let's keep rolling here. I'm going to go down a little bit here. Okay, so now that looks good. That looks good, except for the only thing I got to worry about is when the string comes off here, it needs to go up. So I need to taper that out just a little bit more. So I'm going to get a good clean cut here. I'm going to go a little bit. Okay. I think that might have it. Now I just got to clean that up so it's nice and smooth. Transition's good. So I need to clean that up a little bit more with the skew, and it'll be in good shape. So hang tight and we'll be right back and I'll show you what I got. All right, so I cleaned that up, got that all done, and now I am going to do a little bit of sanding. So start out with 120 and do a little bit of sanding on that. So that being said, find my dust mask here. Don't know where that went off to. You know, I'll find it here in a second. I'm not sure where it's at. Hang tight, let me find my dust mask. We found our dust masks. So we're going to do a little sanding on it. Put it in reverse. And we'll do a little sanding here. And you can make these all kinds of sizes. This one just a little bigger than you might normally find. Big thing is this here up on this top edge needs to be real nice and smooth, because that's where the string is going to go off to the end. Anyway, that's where we're at. I think it looks pretty good. I'll continue to do some sanding, and I'll be right back. So hang tight. So that takes care of the main part of this all. So what I think I'm going to do, though, just to dress this up a little bit, I'm going to put some burn marks down through here. So I'm going to take my diamond thing here, and I'm just going to put about 4 of them in it. I'll do one here, one there, like that. I'll grab my wire, crank it up, and we'll put a burn mark in it, right like this. Just something to dress it up a little bit. There. Now I'll hit that with a little sandpaper just to clean up the burn marks on it with some 240. And there it be. Okay, so that takes care of that part of it. Now, if you noticed, I lift a little bit down at this far end, and that is because I want to part this off and use this for the cap for this end. So I need to part that off. So to part that off, and then I got to turn around and finish the end of it. So let's get set up for that, and we'll be in good shape. So there we go. All right, so I need to part that off. Get my parting tool here, and I'll come in. I'm going to go a little ways further, and then what I want to do, I want to taper this end down just a little bit more. There. Okay. And I'll get my Japanese saw and I'll cut it the rest of the way off. The reason I'm not going to part it off with the parting tool is because I want to save as much of this as I can. So I'm going to use this and just cut that off. Okay, now I'll loosen this end up. I'm starting to pinch my saw. Get my chuck out of the way here, my jam chuck. And voila. So there's that part of it right there. Now I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to put it back in the chuck here and then center this, and then I'll turn this around here. So let's do that real quick and I'll be right back on that. So hang tight and we'll get her turned around. All right, so as you can see, I got it back in the chuck and we're going to finish off the end of it down here. And what I want to do is clean this edge up and then taper this end. So that's the goal. So use my spindle gouge, put my face shield back on. And We're not exactly centered. So, move it over just a hair. This is the fun part, is getting it centered. Might have went too much, yep. That's pretty close. Close enough for what we need. All right, so I just want to clean that edge up. And round this over. Just like that. Yeah. And I'll do a little sanding on that, and I'll be right back. Do some sanding, and then we'll be right back on that. All right, so that is that part of it. We're done with that. So we got it cleaned off. Let's take it out of the chuck. And what we got to do is glue the piece in place. Let's get you over to the bench and we'll show you how to glue that in place, and we'll go from there. So basically I just need to glue that into there like so. Okay, so hang tight and I'll get my epoxy out and we'll glue it in. All right, so I got my two-part epoxy here. It's not going to take much to do. So this is A and B epoxy. This is tight bond epoxy if you're curious. Kind of like this stuff. It's pretty easy to use. My popsicle stick. All right, got them mixed up pretty good. And I'm going to take a little dab of this, and I'm going to put it on here. And I just want to put it on this edge of it here. All right, and we take this here and we just nice and gently slip it in there, and I like to give it a little bit of a spin, and then we'll let that dry. All right, so that part's done. So hang tight and let's go back over lathe and finish the cap off. All right, so what I got to do now is I got to cut the top of this, and I got to get this piece wherever it is, this. Okay, so I got to cut hole in this to fit this piece. So I got 1 5/8 Forstner bit in there. And I'm going to cut down. And this one here, I got to cut down just so it barely fits. Let's see where we're at. Okay, so I got to cut a little bit more off until she fits on in there. So I'm going to use my bidan to cut just a hair off there. And make it fit. Let's see if it fits. Not quite. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, so I need to go deeper for one. So let's do a okay. And let's cut a little bit more off of here. Okay, let's see if that's deep enough. I got to take a little bit more off. I got to go just a hair deeper because I want that to be flush. So, all right. Let's see if that's deep enough. It's a pretty good fit. Yeah. All right. So that takes care of that part. So we're going to do that. Now, we just need to turn this to fit that. And I want it about the same size as this here. So we need to turn this outer edge down somewhere in that range. So I'm going to put a mark on here. Yeah, right about there would be good. Okay, so now I'm going to take my drill chuck out and put my tailstock in just to support it, and I'll be right back. All right, here we go. We're going to finish this project off. Getting close anyway. A little bit more to do, face shield. And we're going to turn this, make this into a kind of a button type thing. tapering this just a hair. Just so it lays flat. Okay. All right. It's pretty close to what I want. Except for, let's clean this up just a little bit. Okay. And let's hit it with just a little bit of sandpaper. Just a little bit of sandpaper to clean that edge up. Okay. It's 120. 150. $180. Okay. And 220. All right. Now what I got to do is flip it around. So give me a second and I'll flip it around and we'll go from there. Hang tight. All right, so we got it flipped around. So now it's a matter of cleaning all this up, and getting rid of this and making it, I guess you could say, pretty. I don't know. We'll see here. So I'm going to take the rest of that off and let's go from there. Uh-oh. Slight malfunction. Guess what just happened? Got to go back to the drawing board. Got to make a new one. So it came apart there, had a crack in it, I suppose. Did not know it. And that's what happened. I could probably glue it back together. Since I'm this far along, I might do that. So let's get this glued back together with some epoxy in 5 minutes, and then we'll be right back to finish it up. All right, so I glued it back together, and let's just go ahead and see if we can finish turning that, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to be real gentle. Let's see what we can do. did it again. Okay, so at this point, we might have to make a new one. So let's hang tight. All right, so here it is. I returned this piece here. It's not glued in yet. I'll glue that in a minute. But just to finish this video off, I wanted to show you what it would do. Is put that on there. And this will screw onto that. And that's what she'll look like. So pull the end off. You got your bobber. Drop it in there. You got this piece here, which will be glued in there. And you take this and you screw this onto there. Screw that onto there, and there it is. So then it'll be like that, and you'll be able to do some fishing. You just wrap your string around this, and we'll go from there. So this was my piece that I broke. Obviously, had a crack in it, so I just made me a new one. Anyway, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize, I didn't think it would be this long, but a lot of little processes, little things that goes on in it, and it was a rather interesting, kind of fun video to do. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down below. Please share the video with your friends, neighbors, relatives, enemies, whoever else you want to share it with. And we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good day. Bye.